So in a new religion, you got to talk about some of the practical things of the religion, like sex. And here in the 21st century, and with this enormous expansion of communication, unparalleled in human history, the internet, and most of you who are listening to this have that little rectangle in the palm of your hand that connects you to the world anytime. And on top of that, you can take a picture and put it up to the world. You can take a video, even now a live stream video, and put it up to the world. So we have to talk about sex in the 21st century and in the world of the internet and also in the world of what we know now. Not the dark ages, tokens, sandals, myths, and frauds. We've gone way too far beyond that. We're smarter than that. So we got to start and clarify sex. So one thing is, in the Society of Sacred Flowers, there isn't a religious mandate for marriage. You want to get married, fine. If you don't want to get married, fine. You don't need to be married to have sex. We don't care. That's up to you. Now, if you do want a marriage ceremony, there's no marriage ceremony, all set to go in the Society of Sacred Flowers. There just isn't. If you want to get married and you want a ceremony, well, then just get some of your fellow friends and, fellow community Society of Sacred Flowers members together. Decide what you want to do, and the format and everything, and do it yourself. The one thing you're going to do about being married is you're just going to go to the state, get the marriage license, go through that paperwork, that kind of thing. And that's the marriage, if you want to do it. The Society of Sacred Flowers looks on marriage as a contractual agreement, a contract. You're really just saying you want to make this partnership kind of thing together, legally binding, about issues of taxation, inheritance, the responsibility for children, those type of things. Property, selling of property, all that stuff. That's the business of that. And the Society of Sacred Flowers doesn't care if you're heterosexual, if you're homosexual. The Society doesn't care. That's old worries from some bygone age of foolishness. That's ridiculous. We're in the 21st century. So we make the contractual agreement, a marriage. Then if you want to have, a party, essentially, a marriage through the Society of Sacred Flowers, well, just get your friends together and make it up the way you want it, how you want to do it, and do it. The Society of Sacred Flowers doesn't care if you want to stay a single parent and, have a kid and, be all that legal responsibility for the kid by yourself. It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you want to stay single your whole life and have no kids. All those things they're not the main issue to get worried about at all. If you want to do it, do it. Those things are your responsibility. In the same way, sex itself is really, it's your responsibility. You want to have sex? Great. If you want to not have sex, there are some people who really just don't want to have sex. And that's fine too. The Society doesn't care if what your sexual kind of preferences are. It doesn't matter. That's up to you. then it doesn't, like we say, you don't stipulate that you have to be married to have sex. No. So you can be single your whole life, have multiple sex partners, the whole thing, whatever you want, fine. You can be a single person your whole life and really just not care much about sex at all for your whole life, well, fine. There's no kind of mandate of issue about sex. Common sense says that some issues, like rape, like being real intimidating and aggressive to demand sex kind of thing, what other, kind of an abusive approach to, in an aggressive way for trying to get sex, common sense says, no, come on, of course not, that's not acceptable, of course not. It's just common sense. The society says, hey, if you want to have sex, it's a good thing. Sex is a good thing. Have a lot of sex. Have fun. Have fulfilling sex for your life, your whole life. That's great. It's our natural gift of our bodies. Well, fine. It's up to you. The caveat is, of course, don't cause injury. Don't hurt others. And because we're in this digital thing, we got to even say, the Society of Sacred Flowers doesn't care if you look at porn, online porn. So what? Over in one poll here, by the way, over 65% of Christian ministers or pastors or whatever they call them admit that they're kind of addicted to porn. And then they got all worked up about it, oh, did we fail? We're suffering, oh my God. You just gotta heave a sigh and go, oh man. Look, sex is okay. This new thing of the internet is just changing a lot of facets of things very fast. And so here's one. Internet porn. Incredible nowadays. Video, sharp detail. You can see lists of, like, if you have a special kind of interest. That's wild. That's crazy. It just kind of boggles your mind, you think about it. Well, it's all okay, Inherently it's okay. The main issue still remains. Is there an actual event that's causing injury or intentional, abuse? That's always one, just a caveat. But if you're just, being people making internet porn movies per se, it's like, so what? If you want to watch internet porn movies, fine. So what? You got some natural caveats. Because now, it's been around long enough. Internet's been around long enough that we definitely have 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds who have seen a fair amount of internet porn. Now, I don't think that you're seeing anything per se in the society at large that says, oh, you're seeing trouble everywhere. Because kids are now 18, 20, and they've seen a lot of internet porn. So it's obviously saying it's not really a big deal. But it is distinctive from the old harassment and dark ages kind of stuff. That's a big difference of how you've kind of grown up with sex and knowing about actual physical sex. Pretty interesting in a big cultural view kind of way, isn't it? But the Society of Sacred Flowers says, sex is a good thing. It's a great thing of life. And if you can, and if you want to, enjoy it. Common sense. It's what that means to you and how much and how often and efforts, well, it's up to you. And whether you get married or not, or heterosexual, homosexual, and whatever. It doesn't matter. So what? Good. Have fun. that's kind of the start anyway on this one that will have probably many more segments about the whole issue, a new issue here about sex and what's kind of unveiling for us in this tremendously accelerated change in worldwide culture that is being afforded because of the internet.